Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Bowman here, and we are continuing our playthrough of Planescape Torment. And we're doing some sort of side quests down here in the lower ward, so we'll just sort of continue with that, and yeah. This man has rough leathery skin with a pale yellow cast and gaunt features. His face is angular, his nose is small and highly placed, and his ears tapered to points. A tracery of tattoos and scars cover his body. He is dressed in strange gaudy leathers that look more oriental than combat ready. His eyes are like two small black stones, and they track you as you approach. You are the human seeking memories, he says. Can I help you? Who and what are you? I am Yamin. I am a Githyanki angler. My people are the undisputed masters of the astral plane where the gods go to die and the memories of the dead float like leaves in a pool. My duty is in retrieving the memory cores of the dead and gleaning them for information. I can locate your memories. You have only to pay the price. What would that price be? It is a matter of a mere few coins. The price is negotiable. I ask for 100. You will determine the value of the memories I find and pay accordingly. Sounds good. What do I have to do? If I am to bait my hook for your memories, I will need some of the memories you currently possess. I also require a place of concentration and quiet. If you will follow me, we will journey to one such place, and I will make you whole once again. We go alone with no companions. Agreed. Let's go. I don't like the look of this. The mood has turned into something much more ugly than its previous arrogance. Now, human, drop your painted shield and tell us what you have said and done for the Githyanki dogs within Sidra's walls. Weren't you going to go look for my memories? The only way you shall travel to the astral plane is in chains, human. You have one more chance to tell me what you have said and done for the Githyanki within Sidra's walls. I will not tell you. Then you shall die. Min's blade slashes across your throat, and you fall to the ground bleeding. They stand over you and begin to speak again. Did he truly know nothing? His words were those of an enemy of the people. Even were that not true, we have cauterized his ignorance with death's iron. Let us leave him here for the collectors to scavenge. We have gathered enough information on the Githyanki dogs for this trip. They shall lose another fortress before the 7th day is out. The walls of Viscor shall fall.
Updated my journal.
If you believe our knowledge is sufficient, then we shall go. Gather our warriors and let us join our war party in Limbo.
I want them all. How much for the bunch of them? 150 for the redhead.
Endure.
Hi. What's up?
In enduring grow to health.
My lungs feel like a chimney.
This woman has a yellow cast to her skin and severe features. Tattoos cover her body, and she wears a long blade at her side. Her eyes are like two small black pearls. As you approach her, they follow your movements. Greetings, Swordringer. You are known among the people as a friend. You are not yet known to me. I cannot help you. Are you familiar with the fortress... blah blah blah. She turns slightly. How did you come to know that name? A group of Githyanki are planning to raid on the fortress within the 7th day. They are on their way there even now. Her eyes dart across her face. You can feel her noting you. Know that you have the gratitude of the Githyanki people. That shall not be forgotten. Sunset over Hildar, traveler. I must warn my people. Good luck then, and farewell. You see a young woman who's trying to get your attention. She is wearing shoddy clothes, but her demeanor is one of elegance, unlike that of the people who surround her. Upon closer inspection, you notice that her skin is clean and smooth, lacking the yellow tint of the inhabitants of this ward. She notices your approach and smiles at you. Greetings. I think the powers that you notice me. I am in need of the services of a mercenary. She pauses and examines you more carefully. If appearances are any indication, you would seem to be such an individual. What exactly is it you want from me? She nods to you. The heart of the matter is that I am to be sold into slavery for a crime I did not commit. I am in need of a champion, someone who will help me prove my innocence and free me from this fate. She pauses and looks at you expectantly. Tell me exactly what's going on. She thinks for a moment. This is long in the telling, Cutter. Please bear with me. She sighs as she begins her tale. My husband died recently and left me his business. I am not business-oriented, so I decided to sell. Not long afterward, I was contacted by a lender saying a loan on the business had not been paid. I examined all the documents my husband kept and found that there had indeed been a loan taken, but it had just recently been paid in full. I explained this to the lender, and a few days later he asked for a copy of the document. It was nowhere to be found. She looks concerned and pauses to think. Well, then I could not prove that the loan was paid. The lender took me before the court. My monies were taken and applied to the balance owed. Since I did not pay off the loan, I am to be sold on the block to try and recover the remaining amount due. I don't understand. Why sell you into slavery? It serves many purposes. First, it keeps the prisons relatively clear of all but villainous criminals. Second, the sale of the convicted is used to pay for any damages, costs, or fees involved in the case. Finally, the convicted still serves a sentence from which they are eventually released, supposedly as better citizens. This is all fascinating, but I don't see how I can help you. I need someone to find the missing document, the one that proves the loan was paid. Or if you could purchase my contract, I could pay you back. She gives you a pleading look. I can spend the next 5 years of my life in this ward, Cutter. It will kill me. Surely you've noticed the illness shared by all who live there. Yes, the yellow skin and coughing. She nods her head. Yes, Cutter, please, can you find it in your heart to help me? Yes, I'll help you. I have some questions,
Updated
though.
my journal.
What's the lender's name? I know his name well, Cutter. After all I have been through, I will not likely forget it. She gets his faraway look and then shudders for a moment. Byron Pickett is his name. She pauses for a moment. And his associate may be someone named Lenny. Who's this Lenny? She thinks for a moment. There was a small, feral-looking man who came to court a few times. He would sit behind Pickett and whisper to him occasionally. I remember him because he always seemed to be uncomfortable in his clothes. He would pick at them as if they were new, as if they were not used to wearing them. She pauses again. On one such occasion, Pickett told him to sit still and stop fidgeting. He called him Lenny. Where can I find Lenny? She thinks for a moment and shrugs. I'm not sure, actually. My husband told me that some ruffians could be found southeast of the market, near the siege tower, I believe. Where can I find Byron? She thinks for a moment. I think he can be found in or around the open-air market. Forgive me, but I'm not certain. I have some more questions. Who do I talk to about your contract? That would be the Duran auctioneer. He's usually over there on the block. She points to the front gate, the front of the platform. Could you have misplaced the loan document? She shakes her head. No, Cutter. I am a very meticulous person. I keep the document in a lockbox in my husband's study. It never left that room. Do you think the loan document could have been stolen? I don't know. Why would anyone steal that, yet leave other valuables be? It makes little sense to me. Well, maybe the lender stole the document so that you'd pay for the loan twice. She looks at you in shock. That is a terrible thought. She hesitates and then begins to tap her chin with a finger as she thinks. But also a most ingenious one, Cutter. This Byron Pickett does strike me as a knight of the post. A what? She gives you a quizzical look. A thief or a cheat, Cutter? Such are called knights of the post, or of the cross trade. Have you explained any of this to these courts you spoke of? She nods her head. Oh yes, Cutter, I've explained my situation to many. You're the first to be willing to help me. I think I'll be going now.
I'll take him. I'll make the door. I'll take him.
Let's go talk to this Byron fellow. I thought I saw him walking around. There he is. You see a well-dressed middle-aged man. He seems to be scanning the crowd with a practical eye. He notices you approach and gives you a quick scan once over. Greetings. He smiles at you and gives you a barely perceptible nod. I am Byron Pickett, moneylender. May I help you? Moneylender? He nods again. Yes, I cater to the needs of merchants. Want to start a business? Keep one afloat that's down on its luck, or perhaps expand a business. In either case, you come to me for the funds. He looks you up and down. I doubt that you're a merchant, sir, so what can I help you? I have some questions. What is this place? If you mean the ward in general, it's called the Lower Ward. If you mean this particular locale, it's the open-air market. Tell me about the Lower Ward. He looks bored. It is the home of the common people. He gestures around him. Look about you, and you will see all that there is to see. Nothing of any interest. Then why are you here? He smiles. The one thing these mindless sods are good for is spending their money. It gives them the feeling that they are actually accomplishing something with their otherwise meaningless lives. He pauses and looks about with disdain. He shrugs. Where there is money, you will also find merchants and thieves. I help provide the merchants needed to relieve them. He gestures about. Of their hard-earned coin, he smiles at you. You mentioned thieves. Who helps provide them? Not I. He gives you a calculating look and smiles. Why do you ask? I'm looking for some training.
My journal.
He laughs and looks around. Really? Really now? Well, that's not the kind of thing you should just admit to anyone. He studies you while he thinks it. As I said, I have nothing to do with thieves. Perhaps you should talk to Lenny. He can usually be found south and east of the market. Tell him I sent you. I had some other questions. I want to talk about Trist. Ah, Trist, he frowns and looks away. After a moment, he looks at you and raises his eyebrows. What about her? I'm trying to find a missing document for her. He sighs and shakes his head. There is no missing document. That was a ruse instigated by Trist to cast doubt on her debt. This matter has been thoroughly investigated by the Mercy Killers, and they found no evidence of any such documents. The Mercy Killers? Yes, a faction of fanatics dedicated to uncovering the truth in criminal cases and handing out justice. They are often used as investigators by the Court of Sigil. They are quite thorough, and they found nothing. He glares at you. They could have misplaced something. Or they could have missed something. That is a possibility, but not very likely. You obviously are not familiar with the Mercy Killers or their methods for you to make such a statement. If they could not find the document, then it does not exist. Someone could have stolen the document and then destroyed it. That way the loan would have been paid twice.
My journal.
For a moment he looks as if he is about to be furious with you. Then a gloating smile crosses his face. What a terrible thought. Pity there is no proof of any such activity. Yes, a pity. So tell me, why have Triss sold into slavery? Couldn't she pay you your money in the form of a loan? Yes, she could, and I did make that offer to her. He looks at you sternly. However, she turned me down. I don't allow second chances. No one turns me down without suffering the consequences. I have some other questions. No, I've had enough of you to last a lifetime. I will answer no more of your questions. Now pike it, sod.
My lungs feel like a chimney.
Yeah?
I hear your words. Done.
Let's go find this Leonard. You see a feral-looking young man in shoddy clothes. His eyes dart about as he scans the surroundings. He notices your approach and begins eyeing you warily. Greetings. He looks you up and down and then glances about. Returning his attention to you, he gives you a wicked grin. You'd best have a good reason for disturbing Lenny, Burke. I have some questions. He laughs at you. I ain't no tout. If you got questions, go find one. He smiles. His smile broadens. You'd best push out before I have to bleed you. What if I told you Byron Pickett sent me? He stops smiling and examines you for a while. His eyes linger on your scars and swallows slightly. After a moment, a frown settles on his face, and he appears to be nervous. Pickett sent you? Why? He said you could answer some questions. He frowns. What questions? You notice he looks rather tense. I want to ask you about the papers you stole from Trist. He swallows hard and stares at you. You notice his muscles tense, and it looks like he's ready to run. He puts one hand on his hip in a nonchalant manner, but then you can tell he is wound tight as a spring. I don't know what you're talking about, Burke. You'd best be off. You know what I'm talking about, Lenny. Byron had you steal some papers from Trist. I'm here to collect them. He swallows hard, and the corner of one eye starts to twitch. He glances at the scars that cover your body and tries to meet your gaze, but cannot. Collect them. I destroyed the papers after I nicked them, just like Byron told me to. He finally meets your gaze. Really? Then why are you so nervous, Lenny? Let me guess. Byron thinks you destroyed the papers, but maybe you didn't? Maybe you kept them. A little blackmail material, perhaps? He stares at you for a moment, then suddenly turns to run. Just as he starts to run, you leap forward and grab him by the arm. He struggles for a moment, but cannot match your strength. Finally, he goes limp in your grasp. All right, I didn't destroy them. I'll give them to you. Just let me go. You loosen your grip. Hand them over, Lenny. He sighs. I don't have them with me. You frown at him and see fear grow on his face. I swear it, I don't have them. I put them in storage. He continues to stare at you, breathing hard. Then let's go get them. He shakes his head sadly. We can't. They're in the warehouse, and they're not open for business right now. Rumor has it there's some sort of management change going on, but I don't know if that's true. In any case, I can get the papers. I'll look into this and get the papers myself, then. He shrugs. Fine, I guess that Snake Pickett wins again. He looks at you defiantly. Let's just go get the papers, Lenny. Go to the warehouse and tell the clerk I'm here for a loan, and he'll give you the papers. Later, Burke. He suddenly bolts and runs away.
Updated my journal. I will hear you.
Huh?
I'm hurt. Die.
Welcome to the vaults of the Ninth World. How may I serve you on this fine day? What is this place? The vaults of the Ninth World is pleased to serve as a warehouse for the lower ward and all the sentients of Sigil. Our motto is, when one world just isn't big enough, we provide storage space for those that have little to spare. Our prices are competitive, our service exemplary, and our courtesy to customers is known throughout the plains. What are you? I am the voice of the vault of the Ninth World. I am here to serve you, the customer. Instruct me in what you desire. Is this place really as big as a world? No, it's just a marketing exaggeration. There's a lot of space here, but not that much. I'd like to claim something. And what is it you were looking for exactly? I was told to tell you that I'm here for a loan. Ooh, one of my secret passwords. Here are the papers you want, sir. Thank you. What else can I do for you? Nothing. Farewell. Farewell. We at the Vault Ninth World value your business. Please return. Yeah, I'll bet. You see Trish. She smiles at your approach and looks hopeful. Have you found the document cutter? Can you free me? Yes, I will give it to Duran, and he will free you. A look of relief washes over her face. You think she's about to faint, but she quickly recovers. I thank you, Cutter. Please return to me after you speak with Duran. You see a boisterous auctioneer. He is very animated and does a lot of shouting, yelling, and stomping. He seems to have a tendency towards melodrama and makes a lot of strange facial expressions as he waves his arms. Greetings. He glances at you and motions to the crowd that he is taking a break. Well, 1,000 greetings do I bestow on you, sir. He does a double take when he notices your scars. You know, I take one look at you with my discerning eye and I see a man in the market for some healing charms. I have some questions. He shakes his head. Little time for such wigwag, friend. There's dealing to be done. Speak quick. I want to ask you about Trist. He frowns for a moment, then shrugs. Very well, sir. What about Trist? I have proof she's innocent of any crime. He smiles broadly, then laughs. Very well. Show me this evidence. He opens the document and quickly scans its contents. After a moment, he sighs, then folds the document and puts it aside in his shirt. It seems the court owes Lady Trist an apology, sir. From this moment, she is free, and I will make all the arrangements to have her status and property returned to her.
Updated my journal.
Thank you. No, thank you. It's a rare individual who will do what you have done. He bows to you. Excuse me, I must speak with Lady Trist. Farewell.
How much for the child?
Trist smiles at you warmly. You are my savior, Cutter. I will forever be in your debt. I was happy to help you, Trist. Thank you, Cutter. She glances about and then pauses to think for a moment. You have saved me from certain death, Cutter, a slow, painful death. She frowns as she thinks. Please wait here. I shall return shortly. You see Trist approaching. She smiles and waves at you. Hello again, Cutter. Thank you for waiting. She looks about for a moment, then removes a purse from the folds of her dress. With the document you have provided, the courts will restore my status and finances. This is not much, but it is a well-deserved reward for what you have done. She hands you a purse. Thank you, Trist. She smiles. No, thank you. Farewell, Cutter.
I'll take the short one there. 70.
You see a tall, slender man with a glassy-eyed expression. He seems engrossed in some tale that the shopkeeper is relating. Occasionally he nods his head, but makes no comments of his own. Greetings. The man turns slightly at your greeting, just enough to acknowledge your presence. You notice that he is a little pale of complexion and rather gaunt-looking. He is giving you a blank stare. The shopkeeper does not seem to notice any of this and continues with his stream of useless prattle. Are you all right? The man continues to stare at you slowly and nods. You wait for any further response, but he says nothing, only stares. You are about to turn away in frustration when you think you notice a strange, musty odor about the man. Step closer and sniff. Oh, that's good. You lean in and sniff the man, unsure what you'll find. As you do, a musty odor fills your senses, an odor you recognize from your time in the mortuary. It is the smell of dead flesh preserved by magic. You're a zombie, aren't you? The creature continues to stare at you blankly, slowly, as if with great effort. He begins to reply to you. Only your speak with the dead power makes him understandable. Yes, I am Dimtree. Why are you here, Dimtree? Dimtree slowly glances at the shopkeeper and makes a feeble gesture towards him. Seeing this as a sign of interest, the shopkeeper redoubles his efforts in telling whatever tale he is relating to the poor creature. Dimtree looks at you again. Hamries, he talks. Hamries never stops. Wanders town, annoys master, and annoys everyone. Master create Dimtree, tells Dimtree talk Hamries. Now Hamries stay in shop. Master happy, town happy, Dimtree sad. Is there anything I can do to help you, Dimtree? The creature pauses, then resumes his slow speech with you. You can almost detect a pleading tone in his voice. Yes, find Master Sebastian. Ask him to release me, please. He turns his attention to Hamries momentarily. Please. Why don't I just put you out of your misery? Dimtree barely shakes his head at you. No, Master Revive. Must ask Master Sebastian, please. He awaits your answer. Sir Dimtree, I'll see what I can do for you.
Updated my journal.
You can almost sense a feeling of relief emanating from the zombie. Dimtree, thank you, my friend. Let's see. You see a rugged-looking, square-jawed man. He turns to you with a wide smile. How are you, Cutter? Good day to see you. Good day indeed. He squints at you for a second, then juts his hands out to shake yours. Greetings. Hamries at your service. Member of the Harmonium and the fashioneer of fine coffins for the recently departed. I think I know you, do I not? Let me see if I can place it. He pauses to think for a moment. Sharp with names I was in the Harmonium. Let me tell you. Knew everyone in the entire ward. I have some questions. He nods you. Ask away. I hear your father died. Can you tell me what happened? He fronts you. Well, he disappeared some time ago, so I can only assume that he is dead. Where did you hear this? I don't recall. You say he disappeared? He nods. Oh yes, many, many years ago. My father was a talented stonesman. He did not only construct sarcophagi, but he was also quite skilled in tomb design. People from across Sigil. The room begins to fade around you as a memory tugs at your consciousness.
Updated my journal.
You find yourself standing in this very shop talking with an older man while a child sits in the corner and plays. On the counter between you and the shopkeeper is a set of plans. He seems to be explaining some intricacies with the construction of a tomb. Your vision fades as you try to examine the details of the plan. When your sight returns, you are standing in a cavern in front of a tomb. Above the entry you see the slogan, Engineered for Eternity, clearly carved in the stone. The shopkeeper is standing next to you, a broad smile on his face. He gestures to you and begins to walk into the tomb. You quickly match his pace from behind and draw your blade. You find yourself back in Hamry's shop. He's looking at you with some concern. Are you well, sir? Tell me what happened to your father. He simply vanished one day, leaving most of his commissions unfinished. Most embarrassing. Took a long while to get out of the debt caused by his disappearance, and to an extent I'm still settling various accounts. Still, I have a certain aptitude for the work, and he sighs lightly and gets far away, look in his eyes. Go on. He shrugs. Sorry, I was just thinking, my father's disappearance was the reason I joined the Harmonium and left it later on. At first I had a burning desire to find out what happened to him. Later I felt a certain obligation to continue his life's work. He sighs. I never found the answers I sought. It was quite the mystery as to what happened. Did your father keep any of the plans for the tomb he built? He thinks for a moment. Yes, he did. After I came of age and I inherited the business, I went through all of his records. They were quite extensive. Why do you ask? If I describe a tomb to you, could you tell me if it was your father's work? He frowns in thought, then shrugs. I can try. The harmonium training has blessed me with a sharp memory. I should be able to recognize my father's work if you give me enough details. He looks at you expectantly. Describe the tomb from your memory. He thinks for some time. There is little doubt that the tomb you describe as my father's work. The slogan you mention has been the family trademark for several generations. He pauses and gives you a strange look. This tomb, where is it located? You describe the location in detail, surprising yourself with the knowledge you have of the area. Hamrys watches you with a concerned look. Odd, I don't recall anything in the family records that would have even permitted him to construct a tomb there. The Dustmen are very careful about building rights in real estate, especially beneath the street's sigil. Then you recognize the location? He nods. Oh yes, sounds like the Drowned Nation's catacombs to me. I've never been there myself, but I've heard the area described many a time in my years in the Harmonium. I need to know if your father kept the plans for the tomb. Yes, the warehouse where I store my goods handles my business documents as well. Anyway, they are having internal problems of some sort, new management or some such nonsense. I haven't been able to replenish my stock of late, and I doubt I could retrieve any paperwork from them either, he frowns. The Harmonium would never let things get out of hand as to cause distress to its customers. His voice fades away as he thinks, and then he looks at you. Perhaps you could look into the matter for me? The warehouse? Yes, the warehouse is having some internal problems of some sort. I guess I don't have a choice if I want the plans. I'll do it.
Updated my journal.
He smiles broadly. Excellent. If you deal with this issue satisfactorily, you may have your plans for free. He gets that lecture look on his face again. That may not seem like sufficient payment, but let me tell you about the difficulty involved in creating those plans. No, thank you. I'll just get started on this right away.
Done.
Okay. I think we'll end this episode here. And on the next episode, we will talk to our dear friend Sebastian, and then we'll go back to the warehouse. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode, or on this playthrough of Planescape Torment. As always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and we'll see you all in the next one.